Right.
I think we need to make sure we have a disclaimer that under no circumstances are we claiming that we're amazing. We're just on the search of amazingness.
I totally disagree. I am definitely claiming that you are amazing.
I'll claim that you're amazing, and then it's not self-proclaimed.
You know, you have to have the microphone close to your face.
Oh, I know.
Is how that works.
But it was twisted. I can't have it twisted. I'll be looking at that the whole time.
All right. All right, we're recording, just so you know. Yeah. Okay. It just got real. Yeah. All right, so, Molly Gebler.
Yes, Alex Gertsburg.
Let's start our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, for all the kiddies listening at home, let's tell them what this thing is about and then what we still have to figure out.
You're going to be able to edit through your...
No, we're not editing. I've already tried that. Are you...
But I mean, are you going to be...
All right. Love it.
Are you going to be able to edit with this program?
I think you can edit, but I'm not going to. So, this is the second incarnation of a podcast attempt that I've tried before. Mm-hmm. And the reason the first one didn't work, as you know, is because there was too much alcohol involved and it required too much editing.
Yes.
So I'm not doing any more editing.
Yes.
This is it. We're going to put this out there into the ether, and we're going to let her fly.
And we did find out, maybe it was the other people that were involved, because our first time we were together was for the essay contest, and it worked out fabulously at Kenston School. That was wonderful.
Oh.
Then we added some people.
Right.
And
I mean, frankly, if the world would just leave us alone, Molly, you and me,
yes,
we could really solve all of those problems.
That is true.
So,
speaking of solving problems, that is your tagline for your business.
That is. That's a great segue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's called the Gertsburg Law Firm.
Yes.
It's the greatest law firm on the planet. We do a lot of good things, including solving problems.
Yes, you do.
Molly, what do you do for a living?
I'm the executive director of the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce, which represents 13 different communities in the Chagrin Valley.
Over 400 members, is that true?
Over 550 members.
How many were there when you took over?
430.
Wow, so you've added 120 members.
Plus, retention and all that great stuff. Cleaning up, sometimes it's just not for a member and they want to leave, which is great. So there's dropping involved in that. So,
do you love your job?
I absolutely love my job.
I would not love your job if it was me. Want to know why?
I do want to know why.
Seems like there'd be a lot of drama. I would love the part where you get to be really creative and you get to make really huge projects happen, which I have to tell you, you're really good at.
I do love that part. I'm a crazy out-of-the-box thinker.
Yeah. But what I love about my job is I only have to ever look out for like one person's interests, right? Like, or one company, whoever my client is, I have an undivided loyalty and obligation, and I don't have to worry about hurting anyone else's feelings usually. Whereas you, I think, do have to sometimes, be
politically correct.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I would ever be able to be in a job where I would only be concerned about one person or one client.
Yeah.
I don't think I would fit in that job. You
would not be a very good litigator.
No, I would not. I was a dental assistant for 25 years, and that was perfect because I need to care about a lot of people. That's my personality, I would think. But it does get fun.
Go ahead.
Lots of fun, phone calls that we get. Lots of, what's the weather like in Cleveland, and do you think it's going to rain? Oh, yes.
Why would they call you for that?
Because we're the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know. I never in a million years would think of calling, before I took my position, calling the chamber for the things that people call the chamber for, but they do.
I wonder, do people think that the chamber is an arm of the government?
They do. They do, and we are not.
Because I would imagine that people call the government with questions like that.
Yes.
Right.
Well, no, like the other day, and we always have an email of the day and a call of the day. It's just one that really is one that we need to laugh and share about.
Yeah.
And the other day it was a guy moving from Texas, and he wanted to know how many days out of the winter months that we stay in our home and aren't able to get out.
Really?
And I just was confused about that because, I mean, we're Clevelanders. We just, we prepare. We know a storm's coming. The street department goes out and cleans it up. And,
Right.
I mean, if we were elderly, maybe there'd be 1 day or 2 out of the winter that we would say, maybe not a good day to go out. But you call your Chamber of Commerce and find out. And the other question that he had with that was, what do we do with our cars to make sure that we don't get rust? And those are going to be his two. He needed those answered before he decided to make his move to Cleveland.
Is that right? That's fascinating.
Yeah. We're going to write a book.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys have your own share of individuals
Yes.
with their own personalities.
Yes, a lot of very nuanced, idiosyncratic problems.
Yes. And does everybody
personalities.
still want to sue everybody?
People love suing people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people love suing people. Yeah, business is good in that way. You might
That is
say.
true. I guess you want them to sue
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So
why are we here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
All right, so
let's tell the friends.
well, let's figure out, right, since this is our first ever podcast of this kind, probably
Yes.
in the whole world,
Yes.
what we've agreed on in terms of formatting and what has yet to be decided.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
we are on our quest to find amazingness.
Right, right. We are, we're looking to
Do research by interviewing people.
yes,
Right?
good,
That are amazing.
yeah, yeah.
That we feel are amazing. And you and I have different thoughts on that.
Yeah. So we've agreed that every podcast we're going to interview one person, maybe have, a little duet going at some point.
Or maybe
more.
it's you bring in someone you feel amazing, I'll bring in
Right.
someone and they
Yes.
talk
Yeah.
together.
And we're going to learn what it was that made that person amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the thing.
We want to see if we can find a common denominator or something that is consistent with being
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, Alex is amazing, and you'll
Stop.
learn that.
Please.
However,
Too much.
we are not doing it because we are amazing. We are doing it because we are on a quest to
Right.
basically surround ourselves with amazing people.
Yes.
And maybe it'll rub off a little bit
Yeah.
on us.
Well, I really like one thing that you said the other day during our little brainstorming
Just one,
session.
folks. Did you hear that? He likes one thing.
There was this one thing that stood out, and it was that maybe we'll determine that there are, or maybe I hallucinated that you said this.
Oh,
but
a formula.
I'm attributing. No, the thought was things that you think are amazing
Yes.
about people are not things that I would think are amazing about people, right?
I think that conversation came from you were saying in your explanation of awesome or great.
Yeah.
You were saying famous. You were saying words like powerful. And
Yeah.
in my mind, I was thinking of maybe that individual who is the head of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking Red Cross nonprofit.
Yeah.
I'm talking individual
Yeah.
small town nonprofits who are doing amazing things by their efforts, but wouldn't
Right.
be on the level of
Yeah.
someone that is.
Well, and what I liked about that is because I thought that this would be such a good opportunity to change my own definition of amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And another thought I had related to that is, wouldn't it be cool? Tell me what you think about this. We have not talked about this. This is a scoop.
I love it.
Wouldn't it be cool?
We need noise.
Oh, sound effects.
Yeah.
That's
Go ahead.
later.
Go ahead.
Later.
Yes, go ahead.
What do you think about this, Molly? What if I asked you what is a big goal that you have that you've always considered either out of reach or just like something that you've procrastinated, a major bucket list item, right? Something that you've always said, I'm going to do this someday, right? And then I said, Molly, let's pull that goal out, and then let's work on it together through these podcasts, right?
Well, I mean, I'm doing my goal, which, or
To have
at
a
least
podcast with Alex Gertsburg.
that one.
Right, setting that one aside.
That one, and being on the stage, which I've never been on. And that
That's
was always
huge.
a bucket list of mine.
Yeah.
So now I'm currently in rehearsals
You should talk some more
for
about that.
doing that.
What are we talking about here?
I am a pirate in Peter Pan. A no-name pirate. Actually, self-named Peter, so that when the director says, can we have Peter the stage, I slowly walk on,
Right.
and they're like, no, not the pirate Peter. The main star of the show, Peter. And then I kind of walk back and, oh, okay.
You should like throw a tantrum and go, can you guys be more specific, please?
Yes. So I haven't, you know what, maybe we can create my Peter, or my pirate.
That sounds dirty.
Because I'm supposed to be developing my character, and I'm having a difficult time with that.
Oh, we have to come. I'm going to take.
Yes.
We're coming back to that because I've got some ideas.
But I
for
will
what kind
tell
of
you
pirate you should be.
that goes under personality, because it's very difficult for me to, if somebody said, if you could do anything you wanted in the world,
Right.
that's a difficult question for me.
Right.
Because
you've
I
always done
don't think about myself a lot.
Yeah.
Not in a bragging way. If someone said, I have $1 million, I want to buy you whatever you want, I could not answer that question. So that would be difficult for me to pick my bucket list stuff, other than being on stage.
Let me push back on that.
Okay.
Because you do, in the short time that I've known you, a couple of years now, 3 years maybe, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely.
There was at one time in high school, but.
That we knew each other. We were drunk.
I'm much younger than Alex. You won't know that, but.
Right. You have always struck me as a person who just like says, all right, I'm going to do that, and I don't care how unconventional and bizarre it seems, I'm going to go do it. And then you do it.
But think of what that is, though. It's never a personal thing. It's usually an event.
Yeah.
It's usually, the fire thing for the people whose house burned down.
Well, you've got are we allowed to talk about the...
The what? The documentary?
Yes. All right,
yes,
good.
Yes.
I didn't know how public
no,
right,
it is very public.
I'm glad that you read my lips really
It's very
well.
public, because I need some more interviewees. Yeah, that is true. That is a personal, and I'm getting better at that since I lost my mom. That you'll notice now from last year moving forward, I've been doing more things.
More bucket list items.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Because if you take my dad at 34, passing away, and my mom at 73, and get an average, my average is not very.
Those numbers are totally skewed.
I think I might be dead right now. Yeah.
Molly,
I do live in the moment.
You do. You're very good at that. But is there a goal that is so big and hairy and audacious that even the great Molly Gebler has thought, you know what, that's way out there. That's just too crazy.
Well, I don't fly. So probably flying to Ireland would be, and the Chamber is hosting a trip to Ireland next year.
Why don't you fly?
Because, in my opinion, because I have flown. It's not pretty.
In an airplane?
In an airplane,
All right.
yes. It is not pretty, and I think I'm a control freak. I think if I took flying lessons, and here's why I say that, because if I thought I could control what's going to happen, if a plane's going down and in my mind I felt I could help it, then I think I might be okay getting on the plane. But not knowing anything about a plane or like that, just, and I went, my last time I flew was pre 9/11. It was my honeymoon.
Yeah.
I walked in, I went right into the cockpit. I mean, if they would have thrown me out now, post 9/11. I went right into the cockpit. I interviewed the pilots. I was on 4 Valium. I asked them, did they fight with their spouse? Did they get enough sleep? Oh, I kid you not.
Molly, you are limiting yourself to just our little corner of the world
but
here.
God put me on this corner of the world.
Did you fly to New York that last trip?
No, I never fly to New York. I
drove?
I
Oh, that's just crazy.
6.5 hours. My gosh, I could do it in my sleep.
Yeah, if you've got a very strong bladder.
Do you fly a lot?
All the time.
Okay.
Once a month.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
Really?
Molly,
and do you go to sleep? Are you nervous at all?
No. It's the safest way to travel. You're way more likely to get
if I'm
hit
going
by
to
a
fall
car.
from my driver's seat of the car and I have an envoy, so I'm a little higher than an average, I might scrape my knee if I fell down out of the car. If I fell out of the airplane, and in my mind, if you take the side of the airplane off, it is a whole bunch of people just sitting in the air.
Let's before we get too far afield, I want to gauge how big of a goal this would be for you. Right?
I really have no interest.
You have no interest in like going to Ireland? Or
I mean, maybe
Italy, Czech Republic.
You know what?
Africa.
Tuscany would
would be
to
amazing.
Eat the food in Tuscany, but that's just based off of seeing people in the movies.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Do you think that you are less enthralled by the idea of going abroad because you don't like flying?
Probably a mechanism to feel I'm not missing anything.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Okay.
All right. And your kids are grown and they're out of the house.
They are.
You're relatively
Empty
unattached.
nest. Yeah. Well,
your husband barely wants to see you, for Christ's sakes.
He loves me.
I know, I'm just
He
joking.
loves me.
No, but I'm going to make a prediction here. I bet you that if you flew without incident and without throwing up or passing out.
Or crying.
Right? Or getting kicked off the plane.
It has to be put there.
You would immediately start like backpacking across Europe. You would find it to be such an otherworldly experience. When I go to Europe, I'm going to tell you right now. When I go to another,
you been to Europe?
Yeah,
okay.
A number of times. When I go to another country, I feel in some ways like I've just discovered a whole nother culture or a whole nother alien race.
Right.
It's just being in touch in somebody else's backyard and seeing how they live and how they talk to each other and how they eat and what they eat in their own home turf. I'm telling you, Molly, and you are a very cosmopolitan lady.
Yes, that's what they say about me on the streets.
I'm telling you.
Well, it's probably like how I felt. I didn't go to New York until I think my first time was maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's probably that same feeling, obviously on a higher level, but that same feeling, obviously people in New York, they just live a whole nother culture that we do. So I probably go 3 times a year now since that. I'm an obsessive. Yeah. I have an obsessive personality.
You do.
So now I love New York. I'm all about New York, and I go there. So it's probably, maybe that's not a good thing for my husband's pocketbook or my pocketbook for me to fall in love with something that would cost $3,000 to fly there.
And what about like the whole western part of the U.S.? You don't ever go there?
I have flown to California.
Good.
But not the trip that I would like. I mean, I would like to be front and center on the red carpet. So,
and we're gonna come back to this because what I want to identify.
No need to. Fear of flying. End of story.
Is world travel the bucket list item that you would put that you would identify for like your big hairy audacious goal?
My big bucket list is to finish my Broadway show. That would be my big bucket list.
I love this. Okay, so
which is already half written. It's a musical based on Bob Seger's music.
That's right.
Yeah.
Finish my Broadway show. All right, I'm taking copious notes. So you know what mine would be?
Oh yes, I would love to know.
Mine is very similar to yours. Mine would be to write a bestseller. Right?
Are you writing that down?
It's written.
It's already in your head.
Written all over the place because I believe that if you look at a goal and you're reminded of it enough, then you will see things in your periphery that you otherwise wouldn't see.
Well, we're going to have to ask our amazing people that, if that's what they do.
I think that a major principle of success and achieving your goals involves reminding yourself of what they are, right? Like, especially me, I've got, with clients and with work, a really good memory. But when it comes to, like, I get overwhelmed pretty quickly when I start thinking about all the things that I'm not doing that I want to do for myself. But the way I have addressed that is by, so like one thing that I did not long ago is I created a little dashboard for myself. And it's the first thing that I look at every day, right? And on it are my top, like, 6 goals, right? My top 5 or 6, like, projects that I'm working on right now that I just have to kind of, and like, important deadlines.
Is this podcast put on it? Did you add this?
Podcast is on there.
And are you making sure that we're recording just out of
I really hope so.
S's and giggles? Wouldn't that be funny? 45 minutes ago
Wouldn't that be funny?
Tapped out.
Yeah, we're money. We're good.
Okay, we need to go live maybe. That's how we should have started it.
Go live.
Like go do a podcast you don't see each other's faces.
No, you could do that on Periscope, I think.
Oh.
And maybe on YouTube, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Let's stick to this. So, and then I've got some key metrics in my life, right, and key habits that I'm working on, right?
That you want to change, that you want to adjust.
So the habits are new habits, right? And then I got this really cool app called Strides, and I put, I believe that if you do something for 30 days straight, consistently, you're going to do it forever.
Well, see, you need to meet Gene Makish, who is the founder of the Lantern, because that is his philosophy, that he feels that he could really make a difference with people with dementia, because dementia is all a neurological thing, and if you can retrain it, like you're saying.
I want to talk to that dude.
I'm going to set that up.
And
for our listeners who can't smell,
I don't know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going. I'm obsessed with these plugins.
What are you talking about? The Glade?
You don't smell. See, you probably don't smell it. I'm obsessed.
Do you think they smell good or bad?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not like you're covering. It's not a smell where you're trying to cover something. It's just a very pleasant smell. So if you guys are in the area of Grove Hill, what's your step north? You need to pop in here and ask if you could sniff around the Gertsburg law firm and check out their plugins.
Molly, that means a lot to me. Thank you very
problem.
much.
No problem.
So my big, hairy, audacious goal is to write a bestseller.
About what?
So I was, I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I mean, here, I'll tell you what I was going to write about, and because I've told the world about it, and it has stalled, right? What I was going to write about was the life of my great uncle who recently died, who was single-handedly responsible for bringing my entire family out of the Soviet Union in 1979, including me.
Could we do a documentary next year after we finish
so
the pumpkin roll?
We'll talk. Have your people call my people.
Okay. All right.
I was working on it forever. I interviewed him for 8 weeks straight before he died.
Wow.
And I got some great stories out of him. But I read that there's a statistic, right? They did a study. And they looked at like 100 people who had a really strong goal to write something, right? To write a book or a play or a novel, whatever. And they looked at the people who told other people what they were writing about versus the people that refused to. The ones that talked about it had a very high percentage of not finishing it. Mm-hmm. The ones that didn't had a very high percentage of finishing it.
Because they were excited to get that out to the people.
I think what happens is when you start talking about it, I think a number of things happen. One is you start getting anxiety over, like, when no one knows what it is, you only have yourself to, like, prove something to. But when you've talked to other people about it, I think that there's this anxiety that gets started in your head about, what are people going to think about this idea, and now I've got a different idea, and it's
took another path.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
what I'm going to have to explain to these people why I went this way. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think that's part of it, and there was definitely there's a great book called The War of Art. Oh my God, it's amazing. You should read it for your Broadway play.
I think you.
Oh man, it's so
I
good.
think you told me that.
It says that.
But remember, I don't read.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you about it. It said that there's a section in there that says great art. You don't force it out of you. It is pulled out of you by these spiritual beings, right? And when you talk about it, right, you devalue it and you let that sacred spiritual thing that's happening between you and the angels of your artwork, right? And you're sharing it, and you're.
Is that why I don't understand art sometimes?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's a great book. The author is the guy that wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance, which was a very good
Golfing.
book and movie apparently.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yes.
getting back to my point, what
Yes.
if we use this podcast as a vehicle, right, to have you finish your Broadway play and have me publish a best-selling book?
I mean, wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't it?
It would be.
And we could keep people in the loop about where we are in it. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And just so the people know, it doesn't have to be a Broadway play. I'd be happy if it were playing
Off-Broadway?
right here at the Chagrin Valley Little Theater. Yeah.
I think that's a great.
I think it's a great idea.
Would you consider any big, hairy, audacious goal to be more big and hairy and audacious than that one?
No, I wouldn't. I'm sure other people would.
I can't think of one either.
No.
For mine, I mean.
Right.
All right.
None of them.
I say we lock it in. Let's lock it in.
Lock it in.
All
You
right.
heard it here first.
This is gonna be amazing. What a great
Heard it here
idea.
first. So
great
let's
idea.
talk about awesomeness, though. Or amazingness.
Well, are we set on the title? Are we set on the name? Wait, tell us where it comes from.
I would tell that to my girls throughout their entire life when they left. I said two things to my girls when they left the house anytime they left. It was, and we should really have a caller and have them answer that question, but it was make good choices.
That's a good one.
And go be amazing. Those are the two things that my girls were told when they left the house every day.
Mine was wear clean underwear to my kids.
And you're still not even listening. They're still not even paying attention to that.
No, that I like that. Those are two good little nuggets to carry with you all day.
Making decisions are, But my girls also knew when you made a decision that there were consequences to every decision that you made. And it's your choice to make the decision, but know that a consequence is coming right after that. So that's what I said to them. Go be amazing. I always say that. I still say it. I think that amazing is a choice that you could decide to be or not be. I don't do anything. I don't do anything dramatic, but everything I do at 125% and give my entire heart into it. And I think that is a definition of amazing.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying I'm amazing, but
I'm saying
you just do it. You just do it, and you do it. Don't do it half-assed. Do it wholeheartedly. And,
right.
And I think that there, like we talked about, there are so many different levels. They're all amazing, but where you find maybe it's where you find it is in different places. Amazing is amazing. Being an amazing person is maybe the same concept across the board, but where you find that is different. And all ages, all races, all and it's a choice. I think.
So I think the other titles for the podcast that we've talked about were Being Awesome, Go Be Awesome, Killing It. What else
Michael shot that one
shot
right
that
down.
That's right.
Greatness, something.
We were there were different ones involving the word greatness, but there's a podcast out there called The School of Greatness, which I listen to. It's really good.
Right.
But it could be close. So I like Go Be Amazing. Do you think we should just go with it, or should we let the listeners weigh in?
All one of our listeners.
Oh no, Molly. Oh no.
Once I posted on Facebook.
This is about to go viral.
And I think
V.
our listeners need to know that I'm a Facebook whore. So it'll be. Is that how you get a podcast out? Is there a link and then you share it? Like, how do you market your podcast?
Well, first of all, I don't think you should limit your Facebook whoring to just Facebook. I think that what we do is we get a big sandwich board, and you'll stand in front of your office and just say...
Wait until the pumpkin roll comes out, because we've got a lot of great marketing for that.
I can't wait to see
Lots of great marketing for that.
I think the way you get the podcast out is by posting it on various websites and then pushing it to like iTunes and then posting links to those places on your Facebook and on your Twitter.
Because I'm a virgin when it comes to podcasts.
You have not been a virgin. On podcasts, I'm sorry.
Yes, to the podcast, yes.
So
I don't know. They're listeners and not viewers.
Yeah, well, fortunately, my sister, who just had her child.
Yes, I haven't seen a picture yet.
She is going to be back from maternity, just in time to push this podcast out.
She already pushed the dude
pushed
out.
The other dude out. She's going to push the podcast out, and then all you and I have to do is just show up.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, and just talk.
Today didn't go like that.
Be amazing. Today was we had some technical.
Well, I'm excited to bring in people. I'm excited to learn what your amazing looks like, and I'm excited to share with you what my amazing looks like.
Yeah.
Because I think we're gonna see that to be different.
Yeah. So, I can tell you right now that.
Well, we know our first guest already.
Yeah, we do. But
we're not going to share that.
No, we're not going to share it. No.
Because then it's not going to happen according to your philosophy.
Right.
But it's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's very exciting.
And you had this idea of asking the same question to every podcast guest. And you've already come up with one.
I did. I'm very excited about it. But we don't want to share that now, do we?
Well, no. We should do it. We should do your
it?
Yeah. Here, you ask me, and I'll ask you the same question. But then I'll come up with a different question too.
Well, I mean, do you have your question already? Or I mean, my question is that I'm going to ask each one of our guests their relationship with their mother. I'm going to have them tell me about their mother.
Yeah.
It's just a very generic, because I feel like I'm going to be able to prove with this question over a length of time that people that are amazing are going to come from an amazing mother. And I was challenged today already with that, and they said, what about dads?
And orphans.
Well, I'm going to address both those. Dads, I think my husband would be the first one to say that it's a mother. I think you're going to find more amazing people, and I'm sure our callers are getting ready right now, coming from amazing women than fathers. I know you're looking at me, but I think
controversial statement.
I think it's going to be consistent. I think I'm going to be able to prove it after. And then the other about orphans, a mother doesn't have to be birthed. This child, it'll be a very
maternal figure,
influential woman in their life.
See, I would buy that. I think that's probably true. But But you're saying, are you saying that it's somebody
I'm going to have to investigate it. I'm going to have to.
Okay.
If they say I didn't have a mother, I feel like I'm going to be able to at least go one more layer of the onion, and I'll find that influential woman.
Molly.
But I'm going to start with mother.
What role did your mother have in your own success? Or I'm sorry, in your being amazing.
Because she was amazing. She was widowed at 32 years old with 4 kids. and never once did we hear her complain about anything. Or a funny story, my dad had a life insurance policy of $25,000. She thought she was the richest woman in the world, and she never worked. So we lived off of $25,000.
So this was when you were a kid during the Great Depression?
Yes. When I was walking to school in the snow with no shoes on. I was 3 when my dad died. So we were 2, 3, 6, and 8. And she remarried later in life. But she was the one that did the grass. She was the one that did the garbage. She was the one, and she taught us to be kind to everybody. And the golden rule was huge in our house. Mm-hmm. Religion was huge. You know, we went to the basement on Good Friday at noon to 3 and read the Bible.
Why did it have to be the basement?
That's
where the shrine was?
I don't know why it had to be the basement, because we wouldn't pay attention anywhere else. I don't know. So yeah, so she's, but yes, I was very blessed with a great mother, but I've run across tons and tons of people, and I have found that to be a common denominator. So what's your question going to be? Do they eat snack pack or backpackers?
Well, no, you know what? I think my question is going to be how I'd like to know what people do to get past their limiting beliefs, right? So I think everyone's got some limiting belief, right?
That's a good question.
And yeah, like, you know, whatever sort of, so like one that I've got is that I've always felt like it takes me, I always associate like, I don't know how much I want to go into it now that I think about it actually.
Deep here.
Yeah, well, here, all right, look. So I've always thought that it takes me too long to do like complex math, right? It's gonna sound really stupid, but I want to tell you what it is. Because it like impacts a lot of areas of my life, right? So like personal finance, right? And like client stuff. Like I plow through, I get it done, but I associate pain with it, mm-hmm. right? In a way that like I think most people, like, so I just, you know how like you have an out of sight, out of mind problem, right?
Right.
That's how I am with anything that requires me to do anything more than just add and subtract. Like I can do tips, right, for
just double the
for
first
waiter.
3 numbers.
Yeah, like that's easy. I can do that.
That's but about my limitation. That's about the extent
like,
for me.
If it's more complicated than that, right, then like it tends to make me not want to do that thing, right? So like I'll save it till like later, or I'll procrastinate, or I just will shove it into like a drawer and not think about it, right? Like so, the way I have, and then another limiting belief that I used to have is that I couldn't teach myself how to speed read, right? Mm-hmm. So like I could, I always wanted to read more and more and more, right? I could never get enough, and I could never finish a book fast enough before starting to think about the next book that I wanted to read. And so I decided that I needed to teach myself how to speed read, right?
And comprehend?
Well,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I took a number of speed reading courses, and I did. I taught myself how to, I can read about close to 1,000 words a minute right now, right? With a little loss of comprehension, but not a lot. But the point is that I didn't think that was possible, and the way I overcame the limiting belief that it is not possible to speed read is by just forcing myself to practice it every single day for 30 days, right? I probably should do the same thing with math, except that I find it so displeasurable.
So do you think we're going to find from our amazing guests that they had a limitation or have a limitation?
I don't know. I can't wait to find out.
I know that they. And then I think just the common one we should ask everyone is, do they drink?
I thought you were going to say boxers or briefs.
Do they drink?
Do they drink?
And see if we can find some common. And, I will say that because I think both of us have a very similar brain, which is a good brain. I love my brain, which is thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Not being afraid of the impossible, not being afraid to try, even though, I am not afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I'm cool with it. I'll own it. It's all good if I do.
Yeah.
But when I lost my mom, I couldn't sleep. And I remember going to the doctor, and he wanted to put me on some medication. And all I kept saying to him is, please don't let it clear my brain. I don't want to think clear. I don't want to get, because some of those medications readjust your brain. I said, I don't want any medication that's going to, I want to hear those voices in my head. And there's tons of them. So I ended up, he couldn't put me on anything because all of them did that readjustment to the brain. So I ended up taking Tylenol PM to just go to bed and then wake up, but it doesn't really affect your brain the way but I love thinking crazy. Yeah. And I think that might be another common
Yeah, well, I definitely think that people who accomplish amazing things and people who are generally amazing people think huge, right?
They're not afraid to take risks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you and I...
We'll find out.
One reason why I think that you're amazing and that I'm only slightly less amazing than you is that we tend to think in these grand, and maybe it's that because we are delirious most of the time, but we do tend to put together large production kind of events and things, right? You more than me, it's part of your job, right? But I don't know, I like to think that this whole law firm was just one big snowball of a production that just kept getting bigger and bigger,
And now look at you.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
You got fancy smellers.
I know, we got the Glade plug-in on the wall. It's not just any law firm that does that.
No.
And gets the Molly Gebler seal of olfactory approval.
That's right. Well, I'm pumped. We know who our first one is.
Yeah.
Do we want people to share with us some people they'd like to hear from?
For sure. So I think here's how I think we should roll. We'll set up a website, and then people will be able to, and then you post it there, and then people will be able to comment and add their thoughts. Or I guess they could just do it through a Facebook page. You could just set up a Facebook page for the podcast. You are in fact a Facebook
whore.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that if anyone truly knows me, they'd all agree to that.
You are very prolific and promiscuous on Facebook.
Not scandalous, though.
No.
I'm not scandalous, and I don't get involved in
gossip.
I don't get involved in the shenanigans of Facebook. I just don't.
Can I tell you something funny that
I would love that.
My aunt, who's going to hear this, and I'm going to totally out her. Her name's Luba, right? Luba, yeah, which in Russian means love.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
She is an...
I luba you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that what you say?
I luba you. I think you say I lublю you, which is the first person of... I think, so love would be Lyubov. I'm the last person to be... No, I know. I speak Russian like a 2-year-old, so... Anyway, my Aunt Luba is an arch conservative, and she likes to post some pretty conservative things on her Facebook, and my sister Nellie, as you know, is not. So they get into these giant just knockdown, drag out wars on Facebook. And I'm constantly like, Nellie, just let it go. You don't have to react.
Right.
You don't have to.
Right.
And it just gets escalated, and it gets worse and worse. And then other members of my family get brought into this vortex of just craziness.
Well, maybe we should say right now, because you and I also have different political beliefs.
We're smart.
And religious beliefs. Maybe we should just make sure that stays at the door.
Agreed.
For another podcast.
Agreed. To finish the story, what Nellie has now started a Twitter army and posts on Luba's Facebook page only videos of cute puppies.
Nice.
Oh man. Yeah, so if you go to
Luba.
Twitter and you do hashtag Nellie's Army, I think that's what it is, you'll see nothing but cute pictures of like lambs and puppies and kittens, and they just bury poor Luba with these videos every time she posts something about the politics. Anywho.
Maybe Aunt Luba should post some some dead, shot by guns videos.
No, that'd be a bad. Don't give her any ideas.
Aunt Luba, call me. I got you, sister.
Oh man. All right, what else should we talk about?
I think what is our time frame? I think we need to keep, we need to keep them engaged, and I think, didn't you tell me like a 6 minute?
So, let's see.
10 minutes is
We're at 46, no, we're in the sweet spot still. We're at 46 minutes, so I think you want to shoot for 30 ideally, but 30 to 60 is a money.
And it's our first. So there was a lot of things that
banter
didn't fall under the format that we were going for.
I think we're good. I think if we had anything interesting to talk about for we could keep talking about it.
Do you share who your upcoming guest is to get people, or does that not matter because they can hear it anytime they want?
Good question. So I think that
and do we have that scheduled? That's another question.
Our next one? Mm-hmm. I think we should do it a week from today, if not sooner. And
is he in town?
He is in town for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and we, you don't. I don't think you say you don't have to. I don't think there's a rule about disclosing it during the podcast, but it just when you roll out your podcast, it will be known. What are you doing? Oh, it's a drum roll. Nice. At the end of the drum roll, though, you're supposed to make an announcement.
But that keeps them even more engaged. They're like, what's going on now?
Save that for later. We might need that.
It's big. I'm definitely gonna have to work on sound effects. We definitely need some sound effects.
Yeah.
Like when you were talking to me about Aunt Luba,
right,
and your sister, I could have been making a lamb sound effect.
That would have been a perfect one.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
But maybe that's a whole other person, our sound guy.
A producer.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I'm learning that. I had to kind of research that because I'm unsure of what I think I'm the director of this documentary, but I'm not. I need to. Basically, the bottom line for my team is that I will be going up on stage to accept the award, and I think that's the that's
This is you're talking about
my documentary
for the Oscars.
I didn't even think that. No.
Oh, I think big movie.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival that we'll be submitting,
which is very respectable.
Huge, top 50 in the world.
Yes. Just concluded. Huge success.
Huge success. So I'm super pumped about that. But I need to spell it all out to my team.
Yeah.
I believe I'm the director, and I believe Sean and Brandon are my producers.
It seems like since this
like
came
as a
out
director,
of your brain,
the idea person. Okay.
Well, no, but since you are like sort of the woman behind the documentary, without whom it could never have happened.
True, unless someone stole it. But
you should know what your title is.
I know.
Just give yourself one.
I'm the director.
All right,
I'm the director.
Can you?
But I think there are they need to know about it.
All right.
They're the producers. I'm the director.
Can you tell the kids listening at home,
Yes.
like in 20 seconds, what your documentary is about?
Well, in 20 seconds, all they have to do is pick up their computer or their phone and Google Chagrin Falls pumpkin roll.
Boom.
And there's YouTube videos. So it is and it just started. Theft is among us.
A lot of vandalism happening right now.
It's been reported already. I did take a very scandalous picture yesterday, which then I texted to the owner of the establishment as a joke. I'm showing Alex the picture of me holding an M Italian pumpkins. Well, all these pumpkins were stolen.
From M Italian?
Yes. Yes. So, and this, as an attorney, this is pretty big evidence.
It's pretty incriminating.
It's pretty incriminating.
Yeah. So,
but I can't. The great part of the pumpkin roll is there are rules, and I couldn't roll. I
what do
can't
you mean
roll.
There's rules?
Well, there's rules. So you have to go to Chagrin Falls.
Okay.
You have to be a junior or senior, and these rules are respected, which is
Really?
part of my documentary and how cool that is. I mean, it's not as much mayhem as everyone thinks it is. There are rules because it is a traditional thing, and with tradition comes the respect of the rules, which are you have to go to Chagrin. So you're not going to find anyone from Kenston rolling down the hill.
If somebody from Kenston showed up at the Great Pumpkin Roll of 2016,
it's not Charlie Brown.
Would they get their asses kicked? Is that what would happen? Would there be violence?
You know what? It would not. It would be highly frowned upon. I'm obviously not going to say that there'd be violence.
We don't want to condone it.
No, we don't want to condone it.
This isn't a Trump
and
rally.
we don't condone. That was left at the door. I don't condone any of the stealing. However, now's the time we're going to be hearing the crying and the whining on Facebook about just don't put your pumpkins out. If you want to put your pumpkins out, they're going to get stolen. That's the end of the story. If you live anywhere in the Chagrin Valley. I
live in the Kenston educational community area and the school district. And in my development...
By choice, people.
By choice. In my development, every year, man, it doesn't... We have our own...
Where are you?
I don't want to say.
Oh, you want to share it. That's right, because you're going to get stalking fans.
Yeah. But I will say this.
Is it LL?
Don't disclose it. No, the reason I don't want to say is because I think... everyone will go to that development to steal pumpkins, and that's the whole point of the story.
Trust me, if it's the development I think it, you are the development.
We have our own internal Facebook page, and each year, this time of year, when the pumpkins start disappearing, people start turning into like lynch mobs.
And you're getting me that.
The
that's
the
going
Facebook
on the documentary.
Yeah, like invariably somebody's like, oh, the parents should go to jail.
But why do they think it was going to change this year?
It wouldn't. I'm telling you, it's the same
thing. That's what I mean. Like, why do they feel like it? Oh, like it's not going to change. It's been since 1964.
Well, and let's back up because maybe not everyone knows.
Okay.
Here's the way this goes down, right?
Okay.
On Halloween, there's this big hill on Main Street, Chagrin Falls, right outside the Gertsburg law firm.
But on a date that's
designated date around Halloween.
Correct.
1,000 kids from Chagrin Falls High School steal pumpkins from around the neighborhoods.
3 weeks prior, they hide it in someone's garage.
Right, and proceed to some of them get intoxicated, some don't, but they do party their butts off that night. Go to the top of the hill.
But that's not necessarily. I mean. Let's just skip that part. They go to the top of the hill.
They go to the top of the hill.
Yes.
Right. The majority of them are good, clean-cut American kids.
I'm not going to say that either.
That don't drink at all.
That's dramatic.
Right?
No, not going to say that. But
they go to the top of the hill with all of these stolen pumpkins.
But here's another rule. So they choose. They've sold T-shirts, so they're collecting money, which gets used to. They select a 18 or younger than 18 child to cast the first pumpkin because that person gets arrested. And
is that right?
You have to make sure that he's not 18 because then it's a criminal record, or you'd have to help me with that.
the first kid who
the
smashes...
person that drives the truck,
yeah,
and the person that releases the pumpkins onto the hill gets cited. I don't know. I don't want to say arrested,
is
so
that
to
true?
speak, but
Every
that
year
is
this happens?
absolutely true.
Why is it just the first kid?
I don't know.
And
It's just the rule.
I presume. I mean, like, why is the sacrificial kid?
And the money that is collected
to bail them out?
is the fine. The money for the
see.
fine. Yes.
Man.
Yes.
That's an interesting tradition.
Yes.
But so basically what they do is they smash the pumpkins on this hill, which is a pretty steep hill. It's right outside my office. And they then get lunch trays, right? And like sleds and garbage bags
there
and stuff
were
and sled down the hill.
Baby pools.
Baby
and
pools.
Recycling bins is usually a big one.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was just the pumpkin. They just slid on a piece of the pumpkin.
Painful.
So they didn't.
And Molly, how many years has this been going on?
Since I don't have my paperwork in front of me, but I believe it's 64.
You call yourself a documentarian.
Yes. So,
64. So this is the math now. This is the math problem here. 50 plus years. This has been going on, right?
And they did have 52? An alumni one. Okay, so here's
62.
kids from 1975. I mean, stop it.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you have pictures or videos, pumpkinrolldoc@gmail.com.
Half a century this has been going on.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the tears, and there's been shot. My brother-in-law was shot.
What do you mean? Shot like with a gun?
With a pellet gun. Not a pellet gun. Rock salt
while
by the
trying
farmer.
To steal
Farmer Madru.
Pumpkin.
Correct. Yes.
Wow, a lot of good stories.
Lots of great stories. So 2017 Chagrin Documentary Film Festival.
Interesting.
You can all come out and see it. Yeah.
All right. I think this has been an amazing first podcast. What do you think about that?
It is amazing. Right? You know what? I have a shirt that says "Go Be Amazing." I'm gonna wear it.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe I should I'll make us shirts.
I think that one of our amazing goals for this amazing podcast should be to, at some point, tape this podcast before a 1,000-person live studio audience.
But see, now we're moving into, we need to start our own YouTube channel. That's what we need
that's
going
to happen, for sure. For sure. I think at some point, it's
you might have a YouTube face. I'm not quite sure I have the face for a YouTube face.
Please. You have a YouTube face for sure.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
It's intended to be a compliment. I'll tell you what. You know what? You have a selfie all over the planet.
Yes.
Face. Jesus, you have the same expression in every selfie.
That is my brand. That is my selfie brand.
Which is all the more mind-boggling why you would not want to overcome your fear of flying and do a selfie in front of the 7 wonders of the world and like all over the planet with like some lost tribes of the Amazon. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't that be great?
I mean, it seems so obvious.
Yeah, it does. Maybe throw on maybe I'll do a selfie book.
Ooh, I love this
of
plan.
Just different people and me and a selfie.
We should.
I love that. Write that down. That's my list.
All right, I'm going to add that to your bucket.
I want to but does that then, because you want to
selfies around the world.
So,
I like
no,
this.
don't say around the world. I can't
We're going to get you. We're going to make this happen.
I can't promise.
I think that we should change the subtitle of this podcast should be Delusions of Grandeur. You know what another podcast name I thought would be a really funny one? Pleasure Monkeys.
I mean, that would be catchy. People would definitely want to listen and wonder what that was about.
Also would be, if I ever had a band, it would be called the Pleasure Monkeys, for sure.
What were I texted you other titles, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge, well, the greatness ones were in there. Yeah. But those have been, we're at 60 minutes and 42 seconds. We're about to go into no man's land.
We can't abruptly just stop. All right, so next one, stay tuned. It's
It's going to be huge.
The Art of Amazing or The Pursuit of Amazing.
That's where you are. Yeah.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Okay.
It'll be more refined. We won't take an hour of your time unless it's necessary. We
we'll
can't
see.
promise.
If it's awesome, it's
but
awesome.
always going to be worth listening to.
For sure.
We will guarantee that because we both are busy people and we don't want to waste anyone's time. So it's going to be worth listening to. And
All right.
and we hope that they put one little nugget that can help them achieve amazingness too.
What do you think would be a good way to end every podcast?
Hey Alex,
Let's get the
Why
hell
don't
out of here.
why don't you go be amazing or go be amazing?
Ooh. Interesting. Go be amazing.
Hey Alex.
And I would say, hey Molly,
Go
why
be
don't you go
amazing.
be amazing?
And we'll say, I'll try.
All right, with that, we're going to go be amazing.
Go be
Molly,
amazing.
high five. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome podcast.
Go be amazing.
All right, dude.